Morning, beautiful. It's great to see you. Excuse me, tidying myself up here. Here we are inside because it's just a bit too breezy out. Not raining or anything, but too much noise. So the good news about that is we get to do rocks. And here we have rocks. I keep forgetting what this is. I know that this white sparkly stuff is called stillbite. But we are having bumps. Actually, this stuff is apophyllite and this is stillbite. I get it mixed up. Heather, Faye, good morning, beautifuls. It's great to see you inside on a grey, kind of blustery Wellington morning. We're doing rocks and that's always the nice thing about it. So apophyllite on stillbite. Yeah, the internet is a bit bumpy. I've even had 2 bumps myself. You can see the bladed kind of growth of it, which is lovely. And I just love how it catches the light. And there's the bottom. Everything stands on some kind of foundation. It grows from somewhere. And there we go. I like these shapes. You can really see the shape of the blade as it grows. Apparently this, I don't know, I think the orange colour is probably from lead or something toxic, so it's not something you want to hold for a long time, or particularly if you're sweating, because then all your pores are open, it gets in. But, you know, I've played with this from time to time and I'm still here, so I don't think it's a major problem. There it is, apophyllite on stillbite. Now, this little fellow, you can see that it's kind of purple, it's kind of shiny. This is called stishtyte, and it's a really unusual thing. If you stroke it, it's not quite like soap. I can't really tell you what the surface is like. It's quite smooth, even as it's textured. And it kind of has this vaguely, I don't know, it just has a really unusual energy. Sarah, good morning, gorgeous. It's great to see you. It's just a really unusual energy, and some people, when they pick it up, it kind of, even though it's a little, that comes in little pieces, right? Very often little pieces. This is a large piece, you know, it's often smaller. But it's just lovely, and you hold it and stroke it, and it's kind of a bit electric, even as it doesn't look like it should be. Linda, it's great to see you. Greetings, number 1. It's lovely to have you on the bridge defending us against the camels. It has been a bit bumpy this morning. So, last but not least, I restrict us to 3 rocks, right? Otherwise we're doing rocks all day and nothing else. And I do actually have things to talk about. Of course, this is fluorite, and I'm very fond of, you know, you can see the layers in it. It's just a rough piece, completely imperfect, no crystal facets or shapes or anything. But I love it because of how the light comes through it. I love it because it's not perfect. And you can see, you know, the rainbowishness of it. There's the hints of purple in the middle, but mostly it just goes from green to pale green to that beautiful sort of forest winter green in the middle and then to pale again. I really enjoy it just because no matter which way you look at it, it's something gorgeous. So there it is, and those are our rocks for today. They're all quite, you know, not perfect and not spectacular, but they're there, and I just enjoy showing you things that are less than perfect. You know, everybody makes a fuss about crystals that are all sparkly and perfectly formed, and they're lovely, and I see the eye candy and go, wow, the same way as you do. But most of us aren't like that. I like the ones that are interesting and different and, you know, not gem quality. They're more, I relate to them more, I think. So today, I want to talk about, what is it? It's funny how much I can forget in 4 minutes what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the ego. And I want to talk about brain states, because there is a direct correlation between this thing that everybody talks about and says ego and it's bad, you know, kill your ego, knock it off, it's nasty, it's trying to be horrible to you, it causes all the problems. It's like, no, that's just not true. Your ego is not your enemy. So what the hell is the ego, right? And for many years, I would hear people saying about the ego and how bad it is and how we have to beat it off and it's a problem, and, you know. And all the time, I was thinking, what the feck is the ego, really? Somebody give me a definition that isn't all about this polarity of, the part of me that is always trying to beat somebody off or be better, the part that wants to win or the part that's arrogant. And that's a popular, I don't know if it's definition, but a popular assignment that people give to the ego, that it's this blown up, prideful, kind of sinful, bad part of us. Amber, good morning, lovely. Good morning, Deborah. Yay! And that never really made a lot of sense to me because it was kind of nebulous and not really clear and smacked a lot of the polarity that is preached in religion. And here perhaps I'm being a bit, controversial. This is just what I believe, okay? And I'm allowed to believe what I believe. And you are absolutely allowed to disagree with me. This whole thing that, we're fundamentally bad, we're always going to seek the lower course and choose the lesser way, and, by nature we're evil. And nah. And so that's kind of, what gets tied up with the idea of ego, that it's bad and it's evil. And you're quite right, Linda. Ego is merely self-awareness. It is. Ego actually is the part of your evolutionarily, the part of your brain and your mind and your awareness. I'm going to be careful here. Consciousness is awareness. Awareness is paying attention. Mind is neurological tissue in action. These are all things I've learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm glad I crack you up, Faye. Excellent. Laughter was good. And the ego is in action when you are consciously aware and thinking, right? Ego is in action when your brain is producing beta brainwaves. Now, why am I saying that? Because when you're in beta, you're conscious, you're thinking, you're avoiding walking into the door, which is going to hurt. You're avoiding eating poison, which is going to kill you. You are making sense of the environment and the stimuli and the people. You're having a conversation, choosing what to say so that that person likes you or doesn't like you, You are making all these conscious decisions, A plus B equals C, cause and effect, all of that thinking analytical stuff that we have to do to navigate through our environment in time and to look after our bodies. That is what conscious thinking brain, ego, does. And it's really good that it does that. Because beyond keeping you alive, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, needing shelter, needing water, needing food, needing companionship and social connection, and then needing self-actualization, right? Beyond all of those basics, the ego allows us to create stuff, to think, I want to find an answer to that problem. And it is the I in the present moment. You're right. In its purest form is when we're really present. But when you get really present, then the ego kind of dissolves because the brain gets out of beta and does something else. But the analytical brain, right? I remember Joe Dispenza, he is my hero, saying, I like my analytical brain because it means that I'm a scientist, I'm a researcher, I can work things out, I can sit up until 3 a.m. drinking wine and talking about quantum superposition, His analytical brain allows him to do that. It allows me to talk to you now and you listen to me now. That's what the analytical brain does. It says, that's an interesting idea. Or, that's a threat I need to run away from. That's something I really like. Let me go towards that. That's what the analytical brain does, and that is the ego, period, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing wrong with it. The problem with the ego, and now I've got to talk more about brainwaves, and I've got to make sure I don't lose track of time. Emily, good morning. The problem with the ego, or the thinking analytical brain, is when it gets stuck, it goes from being relaxed and paying attention and digesting information and doing useful things. It goes from that, which is like low beta. If you're relaxed, you're watching the telly, although when you're watching the telly, you can actually be an alpha. You can be completely hypnotized. So if you're relaxed and paying attention, you're in what's called low beta, and your brain is, the frequency of your brain is, I think it's about 13 to 15 cycles a second. Alpha is 11, theta is 8, delta is 4, right? Gets slower and slower and slower the deeper you go. Delta, by the way, is what your brain's doing when you're asleep, just to jump ahead. When you're in beta, 13 to 15, I think it's right. When you're in and I know I've said this before, if I was going to say to you, look, there's going to be a little test at the end of this, and you can't stop watching this live until you pass the test. Well, you would perk up, wouldn't you? You'd pay more attention. Tracy, morning! You would be, I got to get this right. And so you go from about that 13 to 15 cycles or whatever it exactly is a second, you go up to about 20-something or 18 to 20. A bit more aroused. You're not worried, but you're paying more attention. Or if you're going to speak to a group of people and you're not freaked out about it, you're just getting ready, you're just excited, moderate beta, no problem. When you have, you're driving along the road, right, and then somebody cuts you off or some child's ball rolls out on the road and you stamp your foot on the brakes and stop, you get a rush of adrenaline. The brain goes into survival, protect, defend, freeze, fight, whatever. It goes up to up to 50 cycles a second. It's really much faster when it goes into high beta. If you lose your rag, get really angry, you're in high beta. If you are really stressed, you're in high beta. If you're really, really sad, you're actually in high beta too. It's like all of the brain states that we really don't like, that don't feel good, the brain is one way or another really incoherent, which means all the different parts of the brain are not talking to each other, like a group of musicians where nobody's got the beat and they're all playing a different tune. Makes a big, ugly cacophony. And, the brain just is more and more, I've got to look here, I've got to look there, there's a disaster I've got to fend off, and that's high beta. And the ego, when you get stuck in that state, is a real problem, because when you're in that state, and I know I talked about this yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, when you're in that state, you are no longer thinking like a human. You are thinking and behaving like an animal, an amped up animal that is running away from danger or ready to turn around and fight it. That's it. Those are the choices. You don't think clearly. We've probably all had the experience of thinking, oh, geez, I should never have said that. I should never have sent that message. I should never have bought that thing or sold that thing or, whatever it was, because I was out of my head at the time. And we've all had that experience of thinking, I lost it and I did something I really regret or said something I really regret. That's because you're not thinking like a human. You are thinking like an animal when you're in that state. That is when the ego becomes a problem. And what most people don't realise is that in the so-called modern world, many people are in that kind of moderate to high beta about 70% of the time. You just think of the person that's working a corporate job, and they get up and they have to hurry to work, and they've got no time to really slow down and look out, and they hurry through the day, and they've got all the stuff, and they've got conflicts with workers or managers, and they've got family things and pets and the TV show that they want to watch, and they have to hurry and eat and everything when they get home, and they've got to stop at the dry cleaner and the shop on the way. I mean, we don't do that now, right? But you get the picture. Everything is hurry, 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 hurry. And then the ego is like, oh, get out of my way. You're in my way. I need to get home. And we start pushing and competing and forcing. And that's when the ego becomes that thing that we think, oh, my God, I don't like who I'm being. And that is because your brain is firing at 50,000 miles an hour incoherently, and you're not thinking like a human being. You're thinking like an amped up animal, and you're behaving like one. That's when the ego becomes a problem. So the solution to this, it's far too scientific and simple to be at all sexy, but man, is it sexy when you do it. We got to slow our brains down. I decided I was going to get really sciencey and neurosciencey and brainy today, because, I can talk till the cows come home about choosing to be a more elevated person. Tra-la-la-la-la, how the hell do I do that? Yeah. So, yes. Yes, exactly, yes, Heather, yes. Let's talk about the practical stuff. God, I hate all this hairy-fairy stuff that doesn't actually tell me how. I get pretty pissed off pretty quickly and just swipe, not interested. And yeah, the ego is highly reactive, Linda, again, because it's that amped-up animal that is looking for something to fight or flee from or run into a corner and hide. That's it. When you're in that moderate to high beta state, that's what you're going to do. So to change that, you've got to slow your brain waves down. And when you do manage to do that, beta is that conscious thing, right? Low beta is nice. You're reading a book. You're enjoying friends. Relaxing, watching a sunset or drinking wine, whatever you like to do. Low beta. if you manage to slow your brain waves down, you get into alpha, right? That's about 11 cycles a second. Timothy, good morning. And you're more relaxed. Alpha, sort of trance, the starting stages of hypnosis. Also, what you do when you're starting to relax at night and thinking about going to bed, you get a bit sleepy, melatonin and starts coming into your brain. You get sleepy, you're heading into alpha, Alpha is when your inner world starts to become more real than your outer world. When you're in beta, the outer world is there. It's in your face. You're noticing the information from your senses. You're processing it. You're making sense of it. You're responding to it or reacting to it one way or another. I'm one of those people too, Linda, by the way. Maybe that's why I like this so much. So, to take your attention off the outer world and start to put your attention on your inner world, which of course, I use Joe Dispenza's model of meditation to do that, you start to slow your brain waves down. And the interesting thing, of course, is that when your brain is used to being in high beta or moderate beta all the time, Arlen, great to see you, Andrea, yay! It doesn't want to stop because it doesn't know how to stop. It's really used to being incoherent. It knows how to play this crazy, that's going on, but it doesn't actually know how to be calm. So you've got to practice that, however you do it. You slow your brain down by paying attention, right? And I've talked about convergent and divergent focus. Convergent focus is where you let your attention rest very softly on something. And one of the meditations I do, not uncommonly, involves resting your attention on each energy center in the body. That's the convergent. You do that for a minute or so. And then you open your focus to the space around that energy center. And what's that? That's a divergent focus. And you think, well, how do I do that? Imagine, and I talked about this a couple of days ago, imagine that your awareness is sort of drifting around like a feather. And whatever room you're in, whatever space you're in, imagine that feather is kind of floating around the space and just touching the walls, or if you're outside, touching the trees. So you're letting your awareness open out to pay attention to everything that's not you. You do this enough, you lose you go away. You stop being there. I was not there this morning. It was really interesting. I was deep in theta. I haven't talked about theta yet. Got to hurry up. I was in this beautiful meditative state and sort of looking at my body and thinking, well, it's kind of black and it's empty. It's like a hologram. And I know I've got a skin and I can kind of see it like the faintest outline of stars against complete blackness. That was it. That was all that was left of me. I was just awareness. It was bliss. Beautiful. Maria, good morning. So, alpha, right? Your inner world starts to become more real than your outer world. It's the first stages of hypnosis. If you keep going, you keep taking your attention off everything that's outside and you bring it inside and you open it away from. Yeah, it's a bit paradoxical when I say it like that, but if you try it, if you explore the work of Dr. Joe, you'll soon figure out what I'm meaning. If you practice it and get to know it. You go deeper, you get into theta. Theta is the magic land between waking and sleeping. You go through theta at night time as you're going to sleep and in the morning when you wake up. And, when you've gone to sleep, you're in delta, right? So that's the thing. Delta's deepest, theta, alpha, beta. That's how it works. Theta is an amazing place because, your mind is awake, but your body's out of the way. It's so good. And when your mind is awake, but the body is out of the way, and the conscious mind, because your brain is no longer going at 15, 20, 50 cycles a second, it's going, between 11 and 8, or even slower. It slows down, and that thinking analytical chatter is just not there. It stops. It is such peace. And more than peace, you really start to feel whole because all of that conflicting, you got to do this, I need that, it's just gone. It stops. So the ego goes away. It actually heaves a great sigh of relief and says, oh God, I can stop running around in tight fucking circles now. And the body goes, oh, thank God she's gone. Let's do some repair work while she's out of the house. And what is inside always, it gets really more real than what is outside. when we start to pay attention to it. So we've all been forced into our little boxes, right? And that's why the inside has got to be really real now, because it's what we have. You can create it any way you like. Laura, Eric, I can see your little faces up there. Great to see you, both of you. Yeah, I think the internet's a bit bumpy. I can actually see it a bit things. So I'm just grateful for the recording. Grateful that we do have the replay. So really that's my simple message today. Is if you're feeling like, what's a blue-ended fly running around inside a bottle, your brain is going at 50 cycles a second and it's really unpleasant and it's really incoherent. Got to find a way to slow it down. You got to get present, and you can practice putting your attention just in your heart, but very softly, and then open it out so that you're paying attention to all of the space around you. And you can just practice this in and out, in and out. You can use your breath to help you. You can breathe into that space in your heart, or you can breathe into the space in your throat if it's feeling tight and you want to loosen it, or you can breathe into the space in your belly if if you're feeling sad. You can do this anywhere. But the point being that wherever you choose to put your attention, you let it rest there for a minute. You could count to 40 or 60. Well, I find that a bit painful. I prefer to let Joe choose the time for me. And I just follow his instructions. And then you open your awareness out. And your brain will keep coming in with thought. That happens to me too, by the way. And it's normal. My brain wanders, but I just bring it back. But I just bring it back. Because I know that as I continue to bring it back and say, no, we're going to focus on this now. Not anything about what happened yesterday or what I'm going to do tomorrow, because it's always about the past or the future. I come right into now. I practice this convergent, divergent focus. I get my brain really coherent, and then the magic can begin. And my ego becomes my servant rather than a very abusive master. And life is better. And I get to create. I get to choose. I get to create. With all that stuff out of the way, I can choose who I want to be so much more easily. And that's what I love. Because it's freedom to me. It's healing to me. The energy that shifts and flows and releases through my body and also comes into me from the unified field now. It's indescribable, but let me tell you, it's lovely. So, yeah, that's me waving a flag saying it's worth the effort to learn how to do this. Yeah, well, it was really simple. Yes, the tapping. That's from Body Talk. Really useful. I haven't talked about that for ages because I don't use it so much now. In fact, I don't use it at all, but it was really useful to me in a time when I didn't know this stuff. And it's still a really good go-to. It's just I have other go-tos. Yeah, the ego is not our enemy, Andrea. And I know you understand this, but it's very easy to frame it up and think, oh, my ego, No, it's just your analytical mind. And if it becomes troublesome, it means you've got to slow it down. She says, just like that's easy. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's really hard. It's always worth the effort. It's Friday, beautiful being. Thank you so much for sharing with me. What an amazing week. Good, bad, and different. What an amazing week. What an amazing being you are. Thank you for becoming. Thank you for choosing. Thank you for sharing. Look out for resonant replays, and I will see you Sunday, Monday. With much love. Bye-bye.